Hello, hello. This is for AS 428. We're looking into your karmic spiritual contracts. You seem unable to break through them. First, what are some of the energies following? Quarrelsome, uncompromising, quarrelsome, demanding. So I do right away feel as though I'm getting the image of like one of those little dogs that like nips at your heels type of thing. You're not incorrect. These things have been following you around. What's the energy from the karmics? Impatient, resisting change, resentful, and shame. So you're dealing with people who are running from their own shame, which is why they're not stopping, especially because the further they run, the more shame they're accumulating, and hence the faster they're trying to run from themselves. So what is the energy between karmic? Eight of Pentacles reverse. So something that they tried or are trying is not working. Magician reverse. When it comes to manipulation, you were able to see through their plan and hence stop it, because once you saw their plan, it lost its power. What was their plan? Three of Pentacles, teaming up on you. Eight of Swords to make you feel trapped, keep you up at night. This feels like a lot of nighttime spiritual attacks, maybe when you don't sleep well, or maybe you haven't been sleeping well, which could be a sign of that. Your guides either waking you up and protecting you from things happening in your sleep, or just you waking up throughout the night. Your guides protecting you. Yeah, look at that. It's like putting up the barrier, putting up the wall. You got to get through me to get to my person type thing. And then this would be, in this instance, you're not alone. So it does feel as though you're being protected during your sleep state from, because you woke up and realized in the 3D what was happening. Their only strategy was to switch it to dream. Like, okay, if we can't battle this person or test this person face to face, we're gonna have to do it through dreams and test basically your subconscious will, your subconscious mind. So that it seems as though that's why it's taking so much longer, because instead of being able to test 0 to 100% during your day, it's like, okay, we need to do 5% during this dream and then build it up until this dream can be the next test. So that seems as though why it's making things take more of a spread out period of time, if that makes sense. One second. Looking into what is it in the past life. Oh, so basically you got something that they wanted, you had a skill that they wanted, you acquired something that they wanted to have in a past life, and it seems as though you getting the victory made whatever work they put in obsolete to whatever they were trying to attain, and they could never get over it. It feels as though you had some kind of skill or ability that allowed you to see through something that they were doing illegal, immoral, wrong in a past life. It's like you were able, basically the same as you did in this life, because behind the scenes there was this like plotting, scheming, karmic energy, and you weren't supposed to see it or know about it, but you did. And it's kind of like that is, ironically enough, what carried on from the past life, because in the past life, you got some kind of position, victory, or download ability, and it made whatever house of cards they had built crumble, because you took back your independence in some way. And it's like one of those situations where if you choose yourself in a hard situation, you get some kind of like download after. It's like that almost. But it feels like you stumbled upon something here. Something quite big. And the karmics have kind of been after you ever since. So it seems as though that's why it's more of a prolonged thing that you can't really break free of yet, because it's basically like the money was already karmically spent to attack you, to try and get you to diminish your light so that you wouldn't be able to do in this life what you did in a past life and see through some kind of illusion or delusion. And because it was already spent, it still has to come through to you. But because there's no point in it coming through to you in the waking world, because you can see clearly, it's coming through in dreams, which is why it's taking longer. So what is the next thing you need to do to get this Knight of Swords out of your energy field, I guess you could say? Ace of Swords. Every time you find out or know about something, it clears that part of it. So here we're really looking at like dream interpretation, because the star is in reverse there. So it's like something that you're not doing yet that would be able to really help you piece this together, would be when you do have dreams, or maybe even on the nights when you don't have dreams, just kind of wake up and give yourself a certain amount of time to just scribble, draw, write on a piece of paper. There are things coming through to you in your dreams, and once you can kind of think of it as like your higher self speaks in one language and your brain is a translator, and then your current self is a different language, but your higher self wants to translate this message to your current self, and once it does, it clears that karmic debt, right? It's almost like in a past life they lured you to do certain things or create certain karma so that it could then be used against you, type of thing. And so now it's like, as you piece by piece figure out what it's trying to teach you in this lifetime, because everything that the devil uses for evil, God uses for good. So when they're trying to trap you or they're trying to trick you, God uses that as, okay, what lesson do you need to learn? Because I'm going to let you learn that lesson, and then my protection will keep you safe from the rest of it. So it seems like that's really what's going on here. What is the lesson you're meant to learn in this lifetime from it? Five of Wands, Four of Swords, and Nine of Pentacles, all in reverse. So it's like a mix between who's for you and who's not, but allowing yourself to go through that integration process of like finding out, and not just needing to know right off the bat, this person's for me or this person's not. There's like this, sometimes people can fool you and you'll be like, okay, this person is for me, and then you'll find out that they're not. So it's like, not jumping to conclusions when it comes to knowing who's on your side. Yeah, because things sometimes will be revealed later in a way that you didn't see coming. Sometimes the best option is to just accept that you have no options at the moment. I think that that was part of your lesson as well, because sometimes you in the past may have let people stay around because you wanted someone around, where now you don't do that. Oh, now you don't do that at all, because you've realized from a lot of Tower moments that some people's intentions can be a lot deeper, bad, or even good, but in this case bad, than we give them credit for. So it's like, now that you realize that, there's this need to go back and still give yourself the incubation period, because dealing with all the karmics has taught you to be very protective of your trust, right? But at the same time, it's blocking you from letting people earn your trust, is I guess what I'm getting to. There's a fine line between walls that keep you safe and then walls that just keep everybody else out. And it's like teeter-tottering on that line to learn how to what does the process for you look like to let someone through your gates of trust again? Because it seems like because of this, and rightfully so, they're closed, and that's fine, but will they open if someone is worthy? Because that's the lesson, that's the test, is getting all the pieces of the puzzle down from your dreams to the hypothetical puzzle, so that you can see, this is what I need to look out for. This is where I went wrong with letting people stay around too long. This is where I should have trusted my gut. Those are the pieces that are still trying to come to you, so that you can know how and when to let someone in terms of trust again, when someone is there that is trustworthy, and how to like vet them, I guess you could say. So that's what's coming through your dreams. So it's like their karmic attacks or their spiritual attacks through the dreams, God's using to actually give you the puzzle pieces to help, I guess you could say, like, put back together the strands of the DNA that were affected when they tried to cut you off from self-love. So it's like you're rebuilding those strands of DNA through the pieces of the puzzle that you're getting through your dream. But then again, remember, higher self needs to go through the translator of the brain. So like higher self and current self, let's say they do speak the same language, but when it goes through the brain, it translates it into signs and symbols that are lower consciousness that our human self can understand. So it's basically taking those signs and symbols and retranslating them back into that higher language. So that's it. The way to do that is to, what is coming to the surface. Like when you're writing stuff down after you dream, if you remember it or if you don't, whatever you're writing down, whatever's coming to mind, what is it pointing to that still needs healing or understanding? Because you are in this pivotal point of, it's like, if you're able to do this and you're able to make sense of the last couple pieces that help you see why, like what has it taught you, and then how, again, can you build the blueprint in your mind of how you will trust people when they're trustworthy type of thing. It's like, it frees you from this one wound that's actually blocking another wound. And that's why, Lovers in reverse, that's why you haven't ran back towards it, even though you know that there is something there that needs to be addressed. Something emotion, something that didn't necessarily work out according to plan, but there's some trauma that's also surrounding it. And I keep being drawn to look at the little guy that's like in a hoodie there on the Devil card. It's like one of your karmic obstacles here blocked you from something else. And that something else, there's like a wound that's involved with it. How did they block you? You just constantly felt like they were looking over your shoulder, or they made you feel like you needed them in order to succeed in whatever the thing was. And you were like, well, I don't want to need you to succeed, so I'm going to avoid the thing. There's something, and I tend to believe that you kind of know what I'm talking about here, the Fool, yeah. You wanted to take some kind of leap of faith on yourself, and you were blocked by a karmic energy, a very fiery karmic energy. And it's like whatever they blocked you from was also, how I said, it's like whatever's used for bad is also used for good type of thing. Whatever they blocked you from, it's like if you would have gotten to that thing, it would have unveiled this other wound that you weren't ready to look at and address yet. But now you're ready. What is the wound that... So it's like you feel like, man, this karmic blocked me from this opportunity or this relationship or this whatever that thing was. It's represented by 4 of Wands reversed. So it basically, it took your joy. It zapped you were feeling very forward facing, running towards joy. And then it was like, boom, I hit a brick wall because of a karmic. And I don't, Page of Cups reversed. And I don't get the thing or the victory here because of the karmic. But if you would have gotten the victory or the thing, oh, it's an inner child wound. An inner child wound you weren't ready to face yet. So in a way, your karmics have been distracting you until you've been spiritually ready to turn around and face the inner child wound that was too difficult for your spirit to face before. Is that fair to say? Yes. Oh, Death in reverse. That makes sense. Coming back to life. Republican in reverse was behind that. Somebody that you really respected or valued their opinion, position, like this wasn't like blindly trusting, or like someone gave you a reason to value their opinion or respect their authority or something, and you, not blindly, but you allowed that to block you from something else, or somehow that blocked you from something else. But if you would have gotten that something else, it would have triggered this inner child wound in a way that you weren't ready to deal with yet. Why were you not ready to deal with it yet? Because you believed the opposite of something to be true, and the wound, if it would have revealed itself, the thing that you believed that was the opposite would have prevented you from seeing the wound in the way you needed to see the wound. So this is just an example, like let's say you believed a certain person to be very calm and gentle and nice during your childhood, because that's how your memory depicted them. But like through the years, you kind of got other memories that replaced that, where you're like, oh, I do remember this wasn't always that pleasant, or that. It's like that. And back then, if you would have had this wound revealed, it wouldn't have made sense, because you were seeing the person from that perspective when you needed to see them from this perspective to make the wound make sense, if that makes sense. What do your angels have to say about the inner child wound? Fairies. You have a strong bond with the fairies, and your life purpose involves helping Mother Nature. Are we looking at a mother wound? Is that High Priestess? So something, Two of Wands reverse. Yeah. You were blocked from seeing it clearly before. And it could be mother wound, like literal mother, or a female caretaker. It could be grandmother, aunt. There's some deep wound that is what you were subconsciously covering. And it's like, I don't speak on it so long, and I bury it for so long that I'm able to turn it into something that it's not. But it's still neat. It's like I was able to turn it into something that it's not, but now the illusion has fallen away, and I realize that I'm seeing things for what they are, and I have to go back and address it if I want to get to my fullest authentic self, in a way that is not holding back so that this wound doesn't get triggered. It's almost like subconsciously you allowed the karmics. Your mind is a lot more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for, because it feels like subconsciously you were like, okay, I'm gonna let myself be distracted long term by these karmic situations until I've learned enough from them that I'm ready to turn around and face this inner child wound. So it's almost like, in a way, like, thank you to the karmics, because they allowed you to have all the situations that were needed so that you'd be able to then go back and address this very difficult inner child wound. And it can be from a past life. It's not feeling like it is, it's feeling like it's this life. But it can be past life, the Empress. Right back to mother wound. I'm feeling like it's this life. But either way, it's now you're ready. You have all the tools in your toolbox to go back and do what needs to be done to heal that inner child wound. And healing yourself can be offensive to people who benefited from your brokenness. One more. We go through heartache so that we can learn to quit looking to our feelings before our faith. Perfect. And I wish you the best. This is for SG. So you've now separated and are moving into your, or have moved into your own apartment. And let's see what's going on with that first. Oh, well, you at first saw yourself as trapped, even though you weren't, and now you're not even seeing yourself as that. You quite literally changed the tone of the music in the room. It does feel as though you are still having a lot of anxiety about this move because you're in the victory. It's a victory card, but it's still reversed. So it's like you still are feeling a heaviness or a guilt almost, but you shouldn't be. Yeah, you shouldn't be. The Chariot reverse came out as I said that. So stop that right now. Stop moving forward with that train of thought. I know that. I think it's because of the kids. You are like, did I make the right decision? And analyzing and over analyzing, and that in and of itself just, you know, shows that it was something that you took seriously, because you're going back through all of the reasons that you made the decision and you're checking with yourself if they're still accurate now that everything is settled down. So, and they are. So this is kind of like the settling down period where, yeah, you're showing yourself that you made the right decision, even though you already know you made the right decision. Now it's like the incubation and the proving it to yourself period. So I do feel as though you are feeling a lot of, it's almost like this feeling of like, okay, I finally made the decision. Why am I still not feeling all the way great? I feel like I should. And it's because of, you know, the heaviness of what it took for you to actually make the final choice, right? So now it's like you climbed all the way to the top of that mountain, and now you made the right decision, but you still have to walk back down the other end, the other side of the mountain. So it's like you're reliving some emotions as you're putting it down, I guess you could say, like energetically moving as you're physically moving to some extent. So like you're taking this baggage that you were hanging on to energetically and emotionally, and as it comes up to the surface to be addressed, you're putting it down because now you have the literal and energetic space to do so. So that's kind of why it feels like you're on a roller coaster of emotions. It's okay, you're okay. You just need to feel the feelings. If you repress, it's like you saying, oh, I don't want to put this bag down yet. I'm just going to carry it. Like when you go to someone's house and they're like, oh, let me take your coat. It'd be like, nope, I'm good. I'm going to keep it. Like that's what happens if something comes to the surface and you're like, I don't want to feel that right now. You're getting all the old feelings out so that your new environment doesn't hold the energy of them. So you're getting the opportunity to have things come to the surface. Some will seem small, like inconsequential, like, oh, I didn't even realize that was a test. And then some of them will stop you in your tracks. But either way, to continue to feel is to continue to think of it as like there's an open window in your new apartment, and every time a feeling comes up and you feel it and you sit with it and you unpack it, you get to throw that baggage out the window. If not, you just get to put it in the corner, and now there it is in your new apartment. So that's kind of what's happening energetically. I'm now wanting guidance on my love life and when I will meet a deep soul connection. The light is shining right on that man. It's almost like a new connection is hunting you down. But it does feel with the Hermit like there's some healing that's needed. It's like it's coming, but you're still in this energy. You need to let yourself be in that energy. But when you switch to this energy, it does seem as though someone will be... How will you meet this person? You have more options than you think you do. It with the Fool seems kind of spontaneous out of nowhere, but King of Pentacles, it's like it feels like the first romantic encounter that you both decide to move forward, right? Like you're interested, they're interested, let's do this thing. It seems as though that person kind of shows you the reason that it didn't work out with your ex. Yeah. Ace of Pentacles is like, I'm taking back the way that I felt when I blamed myself for certain things here. So it's like, whereas before you were like, why did I allow that? Or why did I do this? Or why did I accept? But now in this upcoming relationship, it's going to be like, oh, I accepted that. So I knew what it felt like so that I would know what this feels like, because this feels good. That type of energy. Six of Cups reversed, Four of Cups. I feel this. I feel as though it's going to be more difficult for you when it comes to the children than you're giving yourself credit for right now when it comes to a new relationship. It's when you do meet someone, allow yourself to have some time to get your footing and figure out how a new relationship coming in is going to affect your parenting. And not that it's going to affect your parenting, but like routine wise, like it's going to feel very different, very new, very out of place for you. And I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a mental struggle with that, because it's almost like there's wave of thoughts going to come in where you're going to be like, man, like if I would be with my husband, I wouldn't have to figure this out. And that it's like a little bit of that comfort comes back in to tempt you or test you, but it's not to show you made a wrong decision. It's so that when it comes, you can be like, no thanks, I still made the right decision, even if it means choosing stepping out of my comfort zone over something that would have been easier. Like I wouldn't have to figure out certain things to go on dates with the kids, if you know what I mean. Like it's a new way of being, and it may take you a minute. It's almost like you feel when it happens, you feel like you're cheating on your old life in a way. It's like, oh well, I didn't used to have to think of all these extra things, or do it. It's like that. It's like this battle with like you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and all the comfort zone demons are like, no, don't go, stay with us. That's what it is. So it's not necessarily you're doing anything wrong and life is pointing it out. It's just that these uncomfortable feelings have to be felt and dealt with in the moment as they arise. So just expect a little bit of push and pull when it comes to... It's almost like you're going to say something along the lines of, I should be really excited about this date. Why do I feel more anxious? Because of something relating to the kids. Like, it's like that, but it's not like bad. It's just new. It's something that you have to say, okay, it's identifying your feelings. That's what it is. It almost feels like in the past, your feelings were not as important as they should have been to certain people, right? So it's like, now it's about recalibrating and saying my feelings are important to myself, so I need to identify them as they arise and say, I'm feeling anxious, why? Or I'm feeling maybe guilty, why? Because if it's something like I'm feeling guilty, it's probably not you're feeling guilty. It's probably something like you're feeling anxious. The anxiousness, because you've dealt with it for so long, wasn't getting enough attention, so it was like, oh, I'm going to disguise myself as guilt. That'll get her attention. So that's what it is. It's like identifying your feelings so they don't try and get your attention by identifying themselves as something bigger than they are, type of thing. I think that is going to be something just to be aware of as it arises. I feel he wasn't my person, and I believe there's more coming for me. What do we know about him not being your person? Secrets out. I know that me telling you that you made the right decision, you're like, yeah, that's good. But like, this is you are the only one who's going to be able to convince yourself, and you're almost there. You're getting there. And you did say about the kids, you're doing a very, how do I put this? Selfless form of accidental self-sabotage. You don't want to make the wrong decision by your kids. You want to be able to look back years and years later and say, look, I looked at it from this angle and this angle, and I tried this and I tried this. Crossing your T's, dotting your I's. You wanted to be able to do that for your kids, right? And that's why you went back and forth for so long, because you were like, I need to be able to say that I tried this, and I need to be able to say that I said this, and I let it see if it would have any effect. Like, so you're doing the right thing, but at this point, it's self-sabotage because you've already made the decision and you know you've made the right decision. So now it's about letting yourself be convinced and letting yourself believe what you already know to be true. It feels as though going separate ways, it may be a little bit difficult for you because he's going to be in this energy, like this defeated type energy. But it's putting you into alignment with what was being held back from you while you underwent these lessons and tests. So it's going to also be difficult for you to let yourself be happy right now, especially if you see him unhappy. And that, again, isn't really a him thing. It's you seeing him as part of your kids, right? So I feel as though it's almost like your heart is so big that I'm worried about you being mad at yourself for making the decision that was right for you to make if you let yourself settle in those thoughts instead of fighting against them as they arise. Yeah, it's like a very selfless form of accidental self-sabotage, because you want it to check every box and make sure that you did the right things by your kids, like for your kids. Like, I want to try everything I can to give you the best life possible, so I tried all this and then none of that worked, so now I'm going on to focusing on my self-love. You're doing the right things. You need to let yourself be convinced of that now. What about this new relationship? What can we know about it? You both are on, it seems, the same schedule or the same pit stops in life almost. It's like you're both shedding so that you can rebirth. It doesn't feel as though it's coming in as quickly as you would like. And it does feel as though there may be a test dummy before you get the real improvement season here when it comes to relationships, because you're going to be tested with more of the same. Are you going to go back towards a comfort zone person that feels like they would check the boxes of what would make you comfortable, but you already know didn't fulfill you? Or are you going to say, okay, I know that I'm lonely. I know that I'm excited to kind of get back out there. Am I just going to settle for the first person that tries to convince me that they're something other than they are, even though my intuition is like, nope, nope, nope. So it does feel like you're going to have a test before you get the real thing here. Yeah, Page of Pentacles reversed. It's like my manifestation isn't here yet, but a mirage of my manifestation comes to test me to see if I'll settle for that. You know what it is? Oh, the treasure chest reversed, 9 of Cups. It's like you'll be tested. You have to be careful because you're going to be tested with someone who could potentially pull you back into a comfort zone mentality, and then that relationship would go not great, and then that would put you back into that cycle of, oop, did I make the wrong decision? Oop, there must not be anything better. Oop. So you need to not even go there, and make sure that you're holding your standards very high in terms of, I'm not looking for a comfort blanket because I'm experiencing so much newness. Like 15 years, right? Yeah, 15 years. 15 years is a very long time. So it's like everything is new. It's like you can very easily be pulled back into that thinking of, oh, I must have made the wrong decision because I tried and this was my first experience and it was worse than that. So it's like, if you see warning signs of this may be that test person, go the other direction, because it's like a tornado. Once you get pulled in, it's very hard to get out, but if you can just avoid it and go the other direction, then you're unaffected, because it's just wind that's spinning in a circle that's not affecting you. So it's just being very mindful of that. What can we know about what happens after that first test dummy person? 7 of Wands reversed, 7 of Pentacles upright, 7, 7. Once you get the bad luck, you get the good luck. Once you don't allow your perception to be distorted and you continue to choose the right things for self-love, then the seeds that you planted by doing that will sprout in time. 7 and 7, it does seem like whenever you encounter, depending on your speed between now and that first encounter, that's the test dummy, or test person, whatever. Not that they're dumb, just that like they're not your person. They're meant to test you. So between now and then, if that happens rather quickly, then this could be 7 weeks. And if that takes a while to get to the first person, then this could be 7 months. But either 7 weeks after that first encounter is the second encounter, or 7 months. But it depends on how quickly that happens from now. So like, let's say if that happens within the next 7 weeks, then 7 weeks after that would be the person that shows potential. 7 weeks after you would start talking to someone and then be like, oh, you're the nope. So after the conclusion of the nope, either 7 weeks or 7 months would be the yup. What can we know about you and the right person, or the person who ends up showing potential? What can we know about your relationship with them? You've both gone through a lot of the same things, and you've both been betrayed in exactly the same way. And it seems like this is one of those relationships where you heal certain things together and then likely don't stay together. It does seem as though it's like, is there more for you out there? Yes, but there's certain things that need to be healed within the way that you view relationships before you can get to your ultimate person. And it's like, over the 15-year relationship, right? Imagine it like a puzzle, and this puzzle's completed, but there's certain pieces that are missing. And in order to get your ultimate person, you need to have the whole puzzle filled in. And your ex was able to fill a lot of the pieces in, but there's still some missing. But now your ex isn't going to be one to fill them in. Someone else needs to come help you fill in those last pieces of the puzzle, so that you can then, imagine it's like a white puzzle, like an all white blank puzzle. And then as soon as you put all the pieces in, it turns into a picture of the person, right? So you need those last couple puzzle pieces so the puzzle's not blank. So you need to have other characters come in and help you understand what those puzzle pieces are and where they go. So it does feel as though you're going to have a nope and then a yup, but even that yup, it may be, it'll be a very healing, a very intense relationship, but that won't be your forever person. So don't expect that to last. There is someone that's coming, but it's almost like you create what you want that relationship and that person to be. based off of these last couple pieces of the puzzle that help you see things from a whole different perspective than you ever could have been able to before. Message from your angels about that. I got 2. Indigo and Earth Angel. Oh, your kids. Oh, you made the right decision for your kids. Oh, because, yeah, this is your confirmation. Because I was saying you have to convince yourself, look, your higher self was like, here, I'll convince her. You are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. So in order to teach your children about love, ironically enough as it sounds, not ironically, but you had to make the hard decision to walk away from something that was preventing you from being in the energy of self-love. And that's why you wanted to check every box and show them, look, I tried everything. Not that you're like going and telling them, but like eventually, like, it'd be like, I tried and I had to choose self-love even when it was very difficult. Indigo. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning highly sensitive, natural born leader, and it's a little boy on a tricycle. So yeah, you made the right decisions by your children. Like you can let go of that heaviness that you've been feeling that's holding you back, that you kind of know is holding you back, but you're like, how do I get rid of this until like I know that I'm doing the right thing? You did the right thing. And now begins the rest of your life. Every decision that you make that you're not sure about, I want you to open notes in your phone and write down what the decision is and write what percentage of self-love you feel as though you are currently in when you're making that decision. So I'm making a decision to go on a date with so-and-so. Right now, when I said yes to that decision, I'm in 70% self-love. That way, let's say that date rolls around and you're now in 90% self-love and you're like, do I want to do that? Let me pull this up. Oh, is it 70 then? Maybe that's why I said yes, because I don't want to say yes right now. Keep holding yourself, have something to hold yourself accountable. That will help you not slip back into comfort zone. And I wish you the best. This is for DG. I need to know how my situation is going to resolve itself. I'm going to look into the will I eventually go home or move home part. Will I eventually go home or move home? So I have the Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords reversed, and the Chariot reversed. It does seem as though something is going to get planned to happen a certain way, and then it's not going to happen the way that it gets planned. Does that mean you don't move home? Four of Swords. There's like a Temperance. So there's a period of kind of not knowing what the heck is going on. It's almost like there's a plan made and then the plan falls apart, or maybe that part has already happened. Four of Swords, Temperance for will you eventually be moving home? It does seem as though with Temperance upright, balance is restored. The Devil when I split the deck. Four of Pentacles reversed. Whatever it is that you want to happen, something blocks that from happening. And that's where the pause is here. It's almost, is it that you want to move home? Hierophant, Seven of Pentacles reversed, Nine of Wands reversed. It almost feels like you aren't really even entirely sure which way is up in this situation. It's like what you actually want kind of changes based off of external, it doesn't feel like people, it feels like external circumstances that are kind of beyond your control. What is that? Ace of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Wands reversed. Something is blocking you or stopping you from getting what you want here. Why? What is blocking you? Well, that's a confirmation. The Hermit reversed. Something's blocking you not on the inside. This isn't a you problem. Something's blocking you externally. and you're seeing yourself as trapped, even though you're not all the way trapped, but at the same time something is blocking you. So it's blocking you, it's not trapping you. It's like a boulder in the road that you need to find another way around type of thing. 1 for you're not going to eventually move home at all. 1 for eventually but after an obstacle. And then 1 for kind of soon. Kind of soon was Tower. So whatever your plans are for whatever happens next, expect those plans to change. Your next step is not what your next step is going to unfold as is not what your plan is for your next step. This would be independence here, and this is like not final. So will you move home eventually after a pause? It does seem as though right now the decision is not completely yours, and at some point you get more say in the decision. This was eventually, but after some kind of break. So it does seem as though whatever the stumbling block is or whatever blocks you, it's not final. That blockage is eventually moved, and it gives you more control or more say over the situation than you have right now. What is coming up for us? What is coming up for you? Three of Cups reversed, Seven of Cups, Knight of Wands reversed, Ace of Wands. Yeah, it's like something in your plans are about to fall apart or not work, but it opens up the opportunity to plan in a different way than you weren't previously looking at. But Three of Cups reversed is kind of like you're on your own in this situation, but Seven of Cups, you have more options than you think or expect to have. Knight of Wands reversed with Ace of Wands. There's something really important that you're not seeing the right way, or there's some message or paperwork that's like lost in the abyss somewhere. It's giving me the energy of like when someone sends you a letter and it never arrives, and you're thinking that you just got declined for something, when in reality it's like lost. Yeah, Ten of Wands, Five of Pentacles reversed. If you did have whatever it is that you don't have in terms of information, it would help you, because right now it's a heavy burden, but Five of Pentacles is in reverse here. So it's like it would help you come up with a solution to your current, let's say, ailment, doubt, Strength and Two of Swords in reverse. Doubt about some kind of decision that once you make the decision, you know, there's no going back, but you're having trouble making the final decision because of what the final decision means for something major going forward. Some kind of direction that once you take it, you can't go back. What will happen to us? The Fool. Yeah, the Hangman reverse. All of your sacrifices are not for nothing. You take some kind of leap of faith and figure it out. But right now you can't figure it out because there needs to be a pivot. It's like, have you ever seen that game where it's like a parking lot and all the cars are in the parking lot and you have to like get the cars out of the parking lot? That's what I'm seeing, and it's like you're facing this way, so you can't get out of the parking lot because there's no openings. But if your car turned around, you could see another opening, but you need a couple other cars to move so that your car can turn around, type of thing. It feels like that's what's happening. There's other pieces moving that aren't necessarily all the way in your control, but once they move, you'll have more control. Let me see what that means. What are the pieces that are moving that need to be moved so that you can have more control? Secret Society in reverse. An organization that you know about. Law enforcement. something document-wise, restriction-wise. Where are we going with law enforcement? Happy. Secrets out. What was holding you back before you find a solution? When the puzzle pieces move, what changes for you in terms of perception? Everything? Whoever was holding you back at the top, what kind of solution do you find that allows you to maneuver around it? Royalty in reverse as something owed to you, or royalty in reverse, are we focusing on the actual house? Like you thought you were blocked from some kind of housing opportunity, moving opportunity. Which direction? Oh, house. Oh. House, moving. You think you're blocked because of some kind of outside person with authority, but some pieces move around and that helps you see a different option that wouldn't have been possible if you kept facing in the same direction, but you couldn't turn around until the other pieces were moved. Is that fair to say? Fair. The other side, the other pieces are moved, the outside parties. So yes, propaganda, fake, whatever they're telling you. Is somebody blocking you on purpose? Communication in reverse. Not telling you something, telling you lies, blocking you on purpose. Yeah. Why? You know something they don't want you to know. All right. So let's see. Because you can't unknow it, so what else do we do? Let's go to what will happen to us. What will happen to us? The Emperor, 8 of Pentacles reversed, 4 of Wands. It keeps telling the same story. This would be the authority or organization, whatever it is that's blocking you, this is that. And then we have 8 of Pentacles reversed. The plan that you have right now is not the plan that's going to work. There needs to be a pivot. But 4 of Wands, you figure it out. And 4 of Wands is the environment when it comes to like death and rebirth. I was going to say when it comes to like the mind, igniting that spark in the mind, coming up with a solution where there was none, and then death and rebirth came out. It's like there's something that has to be let go of so that it triggers that thing where all the pieces move around. What is it that you need to let go of to make room for things to move? It feels like what needs to be let go of? You need to let go of feeling like your hands are tied. You need to let go of feeling like it's the end of the road. So you closed a door and sealed it energetically, but that's the door you need to go through. It's just the door wasn't ready the first time you tried to use it. Is that fair to say? Yes. Okay. I need to know how my situation is going to resolve itself. So I'm going to get 2 cards to represent the situation. Knight of Pentacles reversed. So things not going to plan, things not going accordingly, and or someone you should be able to trust that you cannot. 10 of Swords reversed. You know what's going on. You just have to figure out the solution. So before you were kept in the dark about something, being stabbed in the back. Now you're like, okay, I'm walking towards the solution here, or I'm trying to seek a solution for what I tried that was not working, or the plan that I had that's not going to get me where I need to be. So how is it going to unfold? Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups reversed. The Wheel, upright. It's like I have to find my mind to feel my feelings. There's the Queen of Cups in reverse here is going back to that blockage or whatever's blocking you, but then the Wheel would be things turning in your favor, would be the energy that you're putting out coming back to you. What's owed to you is coming. But it feels also like there's something more to this Queen of Cups. There's something more than just a physical blockage. Yeah, the Wheel reversed, or the World reversed, and Seven of Wands. The blockage that you are experiencing externally is a projection of an internal blockage, and that's why you're not finding a solution here, because you're looking at it only externally, and because that's taking so much of your focus, you're not giving yourself time to focus on what internally could this external situation be a projection of that needs to be healed or resolved within my own psyche here, because it's keeping you from getting that wish fulfillment, especially in terms of stability. So what happens next? Ace of Swords, Knight of Cups reversed. It keeps going the same because we had the Queen of Pentacles and then Queen of Cups reversed, and now we have Ace of Swords. So we first went with stability, grounding, and now we're going to the mind. So in order to access the clear planning and strategizing that you need in this moment, you first need to ground yourself and feel your feelings. Then you'll be able to come up with some kind of solution. It keeps going back to, it's going to require you to give up something that you don't necessarily want to give up to come up with a solution that's going to work. But after you make that kind of sacrifice, you end up getting back in the next chapter more than what you lost here. But there is a need to release. What is it that needs to be let go of? Somebody else in your life, somebody around you that's blocking, feels like blocking your light in so that you can't see your own solution externally if they just continue to block your light in. Is that fair to say? Yes. And behind that was Crossroad in reverse. I'm not crossing the road. Someone who's close enough that you would have trouble cutting them off. Is that fair to say? Yeah. Why does this person need to be cut off? Eight of Cups, walk away. It's like someone's purposely keeping some kind of solution or strategy from you, or because of someone else isn't helping you, or something to that effect. There's like, but it's not darkness that's coming from you. It's like someone with ill will that's projecting onto you that you wouldn't even really realize is making that big of an effect. Is that fair to say? Six of Cups, someone from your past, someone who belongs in your past. So how do we find a solution here? King of Cups reversed, that would be King of Wands upright. How do we come to a solution? Creating some kind of flow. King of Wands is a very action-oriented, do it now, not wait till tomorrow. If there's a problem, I'm going to figure it out right now type of thing. This is like, make a checklist of everything that needs to be done and start actually like really, there's like things that are being missed when it comes to planning strategy here. What's being missed? Empress, Two of Pentacles reverse, some kind of like, my priorities are off, but they're off to protect me from all the chaos that's been going on. So it's not that my priorities are just off because I don't care. My priorities are in like battery save mode, I guess. Like you're the battery and your priorities are in battery save mode, which is causing you to kind of be stuck in this survival mode. And you've stopped feeling certain feelings, or you're drowning in certain feelings. And it's causing you to not see a rational solution that's kind of there, but like, it's like there's a rational solution, but like all the pieces of it are scattered around the room. And until you stop avoiding the internal, what's happening that's projecting externally, you're not going to recognize that this piece actually connects to this, and then I can find a solution from that. What is the main energy that's like around you that's blocking you or affecting you? Superficial. Someone's not who they say they are. Someone who pretends to not care about outer appearances, but they care a lot more than you would like to believe. It's because they have very low self-esteem. Jealousy. Oh, your past wounds need healing. Yeah, I said it's someone from your past, or they belong in your past. Someone superficial that doesn't want to see you doing better than them is the cause of at least some of your blockage here. What else do you need to know about moving forward? Queen of Swords, Page of Wands reversed, Five of Cups reversed. There's some kind of, there's like an avenue that you haven't tried taking yet, but you've tried to take a very similar approach to try and figure out a solution here. But the first time you looked at whatever this is as being an option, that whatever that person or energy is, it misled you about the reality of this path or this option. When it comes to moving, Four of Cups, Four of Wands. When it comes to moving, we keep getting Cups and Wands. It's like someone is trying to keep, is it possible someone's trying to keep you from going home? Is that wish fulfillment? And they're getting their wish. There's like an energy of not trying to block you. There's an energy of trying to keep you away from something. By using, someone wants to keep you away from something that you would be able to put together if you could hear certain things being said. Is that fair to say? Yeah, trapped, Ace of Cups reversed. They don't want you to be close enough to get the pieces that would make something make sense from long ago, it feels like. Yeah, and as I said, that Page of Swords reversed and Six of Cups reversed. So it would help you break from the past, but it would also, it would also hurt. But it feels like instead of being trapped and blocked where you are, it's actually someone trying to keep you from getting closer to something else. So how does this play out? It seems as though you hit a major hiccup, and that hiccup allows you to pivot and find a solution that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise find. And I wish you the best.